The trial of the accused Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is continuing, even though there is an occasional moment of peace where they have to wait for the snows to be able to clear out for them to continue the trial. It is now focusing, though, on snow and on someone who shoveled snow and on a picture of the person who shoveled snow. This is where this trial is going, and it's going in a lot of different areas right now. So let's welcome to MidPoint a criminal defense attorney with more than 20 years' experience dealing with felonies, federal matters, drug dealing, and more. His firm has handled cases working with the U.S. Attorney's Office, the DEA, and Homeland Security. Geoffrey Nathan joins us on the show. Geoffrey, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
You got it. Thank you.
Please bring us up to speed, if you will, because I kind of saw this in the Sunday newspapers, and I was a little amused by it. There was, of course, someone who had gone out in the last snowstorm, decided to shovel off the Boston Marathon finish line. We have a picture of it now on the air. And Tsarnaev's attorneys are using this now to basically say that this should delay the trial. Oh, you must explain this one to us.
It's called, you get whatever you can, you throw it against the wall, and you see if it sticks, because you in the defense bar, you can't overlook anything, because these cases get appealed all the way up to the United States Supreme Court before they execute someone. And so you want to be able to say, look, we did everything we can to muddy the waters in this particular case. And here you've got a classic example of a guy who is taking snow off of the street, and you're trying to say that the jury is not appropriate to sit before your case. And so, hey, good luck. I think it's a creative work of art by the defense team, and I think it's...
But isn't this basically what you're going to do as a defense attorney anyway? Because what they're saying here is this basically opens old wounds from the attack, and they're saying it brings more attention to the marathon and the reverence that people hold for it up there. But in essence, this is what their case has got to be based on in many ways. Don't they need to dig into the emotion of the people right now and just find that one tweak that gets one person thinking, and then haven't they succeeded?
Well, you've got a great point. You just need one juror to say, I think they've got a case, and you got a hung jury, because it has to be a unanimous decision. It has to be a unanimous decision, certainly, to execute someone. And so they're showing the court and the world that they've got the power to be able to do it and the reasons to be able to do it. And one of these reasons may stick. I don't know.
How far is too far? Because you started this out by saying exactly right. You throw it against the wall. You wait and see if it sticks. But when does it start becoming ludicrous? At this point, I'm thinking about the Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs, where he talks about ludicrous speed. We might actually be hitting ludicrous speed at one point or another in this. So how far is too far?
I'm not sure that I would have done it if I was lead counsel, and I think they had to get approval all the way from the Federal Defenders Agency in Washington in order to do it, frankly, and I'm surprised that motion got approved. But nonetheless, the point of it being, you've got to try everything that you can. It is a little bit ludicrous. Let's face the music here. They're literally grasping at straws at this point just to try to delay the inevitable, and I'm not so certain that it's in the interest of justice, and I wouldn't have done it this way, but I'm not their lawyer, but I've been following this pretty closely. I don't think it's a great strategy, frankly.
Let's then talk about another strategy that I hear that people think might work, and that is putting his dead brother on trial, basically saying that it was his idea, it was his plan, and all this kid did was just follow him along. In your experience as an attorney, does that sort of a strategy work? Because you're basically trying to bring somebody to trial who cannot defend themselves.
Well, absolutely. I think there you've got a really strong defense case, because this guy was clearly no good, and he was up to his elbows in the drug dealing business. And so you bring that in. The fact of the matter is he had national and international criminal aspirations. And so this defendant that we're trying here is just a college kid who went awry under the power of his brother. He couldn't say no, and so as a consequence, that kind of thing really could work, and could work very well. It wouldn't surprise me if it spares him of the death penalty, frankly.
All right, then, what about inside the boat? Because they found a message that was scrawled in his handwriting in the boat that he was hiding in, basically saying that this was retaliation against the U.S. for deaths incurred in Iraq and Afghanistan. It would seem to me that that would be not just a smoking gun, that pretty much there is the stake in the heart of that idea of the case.
And listen, let me tell you something. To cross-examine on that evidence is going to be one heck of a tough road to hoe. And it wouldn't surprise me if the government does get that note admitted into evidence. At that point in time, you may see a plea bargain coming down the pike in regards to this particular case.
All right, so we're looking at a potential plea bargain still here. A couple of minutes I have left. Let me spin to what else is happening back in Boston, and that is the Aaron Hernandez trial. What are we seeing, and in your opinion, as we see this trial in its early stages, what are we seeing then as the defense's strategy?
Well, what you've gotten so far is a first-class opening argument by Fee, the defense attorney, lead counsel. He really ran with the ball in this particular case, and now you're going to have the government struggling to throw in their forensic evidence to say, hey, look, everything that the defense is saying is outweighed by the heavyweight evidence that we have. And so you're going to have a real battle of the stars coming down here. It is going to come down to the forensic evidence, however, in this case.
When it comes down to the forensic evidence, though, and I'm going to go back to forensic evidence in big-name cases that we have seen in past years, O.J. Simpson, let's just bring that in here. It sits out there constantly. Tons of forensic evidence, tons of science. It was there. People were absolutely convinced scientifically that he was the killer, yet the jury found the other way. Is it fair to say that a jury sometimes gets so wrapped up in the emotion of that first opening statement, the continued emotion, that when you throw scientific evidence at them sometimes, it just goes right over their head? Their eyes start to glaze over.
Well, because you have to consider, notwithstanding all of the forensic evidence, there are mistakes in evidence handling all the time by the forensic experts. And additionally, in this particular instance, as in OJ, there's no motive. And that's what the defense attorney and my classmate was saying in the opening argument, is that, look, this defendant had no reason to do this. He's an aspiring New England Patriots superstar earning multi-millions of dollars. Give me one reason why this guy would pull the trigger. And the answer is there is no reason. So you can definitely get a not guilty, notwithstanding all of the powerful forensic evidence that the government throws at you.
Jeff, I got to tell you, just watching these two cases is going to be fascinating to watch the government go after them here, and certainly it's going to enrapture everybody here in America. They're going to be buying into this almost every single second as the trials continue to move on. Your expertise is invaluable. Jeff, thanks so much for the time.
Okay.
All right, take care. What the president's new budget will mean to big business. That and much more from the financial world as we dig into the world of bulls, bears, and bucks with Jeff Yasteen. The president basically says, hey, got to spend money, got to run up the deficit. Oh, and in order to get that money into our pockets, it's time to go ahead and tax corporations. We've heard this before. Let's talk about it again when MidPoint continues.